Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Well, my guest today is Dolly Saffron. Dolly has worked as a zookeeper, a lifeguard, a bus driver, a security guard, a nurse, and more, including a civilian worker for the U.S. Department of Treasury and in the Army as an employee for the U.S. Department of Defense. My golly, she's done loads of stuff here, this lady has. Can we please welcome Dolly to the show? Hello there.
Hi, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
You
Thank
have
you
to
very
forgive
much.
me. I'm sitting there. Yeah,
Yeah, Dolly's
we're in
sitting
my
in.
car right now, racing for the house.
Yeah, she's in the
Go
car at
ahead.
the moment, coming from an appointment in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely in the middle of nowhere. Yep.
Exactly. Um, Dolly,
Oh no.
when did your encounter start?
Oh my goodness. I was probably about 7 months old, and I thought it was 10 months, but we started looking at photographs and realized that it was actually I was 7 months, and that was in my crib. And I saw a light coming in. I was supposed to be napping, and I started levitating in my crib, and it freaked me out. When I reached the top of the rail, I flipped over and tried to pull myself back down, and then my memory stops there. But it left me with the memory of actually going up in the crib. Okay, and the reason they took a picture of me in the crib was I would put my feet through the bars. I wouldn't sleep any other way. I thought if I did that, I actually remember doing that, I would not be pulled out of the crib because it apparently was happening multiple times. That's my very first memory.
Amazing, amazing. Uh, can you describe your experience at the age of 14?
Sure. Well, by the age of 14, I knew I was a contactee. I knew I was going places. I knew I was doing things. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to remember, figure it out. I am crazy. And I did prove it. And made an intention in my mind that the next time I had an experience, that I absolutely do everything in my.
You're going on, off and on. You've gone off again.
Hello.
Yeah, you keep cutting in and out. Dolly will be back in a minute. She's on her way back from an appointment, and she didn't realise how late she was going to be. So they're about just over 5 minutes away from home. But we've just cut out a minute. She'll be back with us shortly. Mason. I can never bloody remember him. Decade. Bob had a strange encounter last week when Rebecca and myself met up with him for coffee. Mel.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. That's okay.
It's kind of hard. We live at the top of a mountain, and oh my gosh. So
Anyway, yeah. That will we can start again anyway.
okay.
Right, yeah. Welcome to Out of Nowhere with your host, Bob Brown. My special guest today is Dolly Saffron. We just had a brief encounter with you earlier. You were at top of a mountain and it all went blank. But
Right.
you're back again now. So
Yes.
we're ready for you now. Tell us about your encounter at the age of 14.
Okay. So by the time I reached 14, I knew I was a contactee. My memories, I had tons of them, but they weren't all one long string of memory. And I had a mother who just was all freaked out about everything. And she kept telling me that it's all in my head. And by the time I was 14, I had decided that it's either I'm crazy or this is real. And I wanted to remember everything all the time. So I decided the next time something happened that I was not going to give up my memory at all. I was born with an eidetic memory, and this is what really was a turmoil for me because I have a personal history memory of everything, and yet I was having missing time. So one night I was out in the backyard. I took astronomy lessons, and I had my telescope up. It was in January, and it was a beautiful night. Orion was up, and I was doing some calculations. And my dad said, "Go to bed." It was a school night. It was very, very late. And so I decided, okay, fine, I'll pack up. So I packed up my scope and I went and got dressed for bed. And I'm one of those people that doesn't really sleep. I sleep maybe 2 hours a day. And so I was stargazing out my window in my bedroom. It was in Florida in the Everglades, and we had these huge levelor windows, jalousie that open out. I could crawl out them if I wanted to. And I had a ledge that was ceramic. And I was just had my elbows up on the ledge and sitting on my bed looking. And I started to see a whole bunch of stars that weren't really stars. There was probably more than 50 of them. And they all started pairing off into twos. And they went east, west, north, and south. Well, a pair came down over where I was at. They broke off. One went toward what would be Dadeland Mall in Miami, southwest Miami. And the other one came out to where we were in the Glades. And I watched it change colors as they came in the atmosphere. And I saw it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when it came down over our house, I have a big tree. In Florida, we have these trees where the leaves are real weird looking. And if you touch them, they all fold up. Okay. Big, huge tree of that. And it was just above the tree line. And the tree was just whipping around, but there was no wind, And I'm staring at it and I'm thinking, okay, this is my moment. I'm going to remember everything. And I start looking at the thing and I'm looking at it from the bottom up. And when I got up to where there were two portholes that were rectangular, but not, they bent back a little bit. And there was a being in each window. And they saw me. They were looking dead at me and I was looking dead at them. And I was like, oh no. My brain went, not dealing with this now. And I tried to turn and I was going to drop underneath my bed. I was like freaked out and I totally froze. I made the turn motion and that's it. I froze. My room exploded in blue white light. And I'm thinking, why can't I move? I want to move, but I was terrified. Okay. I mean, terrified. You get that fight or flight feeling. And when you're caught, you just freeze. And in my side eye, I saw a beam of energy coming down into the room, literally. And the two beings, one after the other, were coming down this beam. When they got into the room with me, one of them walked over to where I was, put my hand under his hand like this, and the whole room changed. It became opaque. I saw the room through an opaqueness. I couldn't see it anymore. It was so opaque. And I felt myself get dizzy a little bit, lightheaded. And
we started going up this energy ribbon, this beam, and we were first and the other one was second behind us. And I'm looking up at my ceiling and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? How are we going to do this? Oh my God. And we went right through it. I could see everything in the roof line. I saw all the materials. I could smell it. You could taste the dust, everything. Yeah. And when we got up outside the roof and the tree was out there and we went through the tree. And when we got up to the craft, there was a side door open on it, like a big opening. And instead of the ribbon going into the door, it went up alongside the craft itself. And when we got level with the doorway, the beam was like right this, he shoved me in the doorway and I landed on my, my backside on the ground. And he came in after that and the other one behind him. And I reoriented myself and I looked to my left and there's this woman sitting there. And all of a sudden I thought I was going to die because my brain exploded. I remembered everything. That was Mama. This is my contact, Mama. I've known her my whole life. I met her when I was 6 years old. Everything. I was so sick from going up that ribbon because it made my stomach queasy and it made me dizzy that I threw up. I grabbed my shirt. I had a two-piece night set, and I threw up in my shirt. And I was totally grossed out. And the two beings that came in with me, she told them to get me cleaned up, take me and get me cleaned up. So they took me down in the craft and they took my clothes from me and they gave me towels to wipe down with and they took those. And then they put me under a sort of like a light shower, right. And they gave me a blue smock to wear, like a dressy smock, just, well, not fancy, but a smock, and covered me up. Let's put it that way. And I started shaking. I was going into shock. I mean, I was like, and just couldn't control myself at all. And they're staring at me and I'm thinking either I'm going to puke again or I'm going to pass out. And they brought me back up to her and she said, she is not okay. Walk her around, keep her walking, give her something to drink. And so they took me on a tour of the whole craft and I got to see my quarters. I had a room in there and I was shocked. I knew what it was. I knew that was my room. And I had a bed with a little cubby in the wall. And in that cubby was my fuller brush that I thought I'd lost, that my mom was mad at me about. Okay. And it made my brain hurt even harder because I realized, oh my God, this is the realization. It's like being an amnesiac and waking up, okay, to who you are all at one time.
Yeah.
I had a migraine in the back of my head. It was pounding. They came in the room with me and he brought me a drink of something and he said, drink this. And I did. And it's made me feel warm and it calmed me down. Okay. And they brought me back up. I used my brush. I brushed my hair out before I went back with her. So we get back up to where she's at and I sit down with her and she said, I'm very proud of you. You did something that not very many people can do. You woke up. You're aware, right? You remember all of it, right? And I said, yeah, I do. And I was just swimming around in my head. And then I hear this voice in my mind and I realize who it is. It's the ship. It's the craft. It's Talata. Okay. I've known Talata my whole life as well. And he says, hey, sweetie, good job. I'm proud of you. And I'm thinking, Talata, that's you. Every ET craft is alive. They are indwelled biological vehicles that non-corporeal beings can fly, indwell and fly the craft. Okay.
How big is it inside then?
Talat is a pretty big craft. He is on approximately 75 feet in circumference, but he's not totally round. He's kind of boomerang shaped. Okay. And the square footage in that is pretty big. There are 3 levels in him, and he has a central core, and he has other things around the sides of him. He's not your typical round cylinder craft. Okay, he's very, very big. There are two craft that he indwell. There's the 75-foot one, and then there's the one that's 175 feet, and that one is massive. And I've only been in that, but when I was very young, a few times, until I started flying with them. I didn't fly that one. I was rode in that one, okay, that he indwelt. And I could stand up. I had plenty of room to walk around in there. I mean, it was big on the inside, huge.
Could you breathe though? Could you breathe okay as well?
Yes. Because I had been going with them my whole life, I think I developed a better lung capacity than most people here. I used to be able to hold my breath for 5 minutes or more. And my doctors to this day tell me I have the biggest set of lungs they've ever seen on a female, huge lungs. And they think it's because of the pressure. I think anyway, it's because the pressures are higher. You know, I have to be able to, well, not higher, they're lower, excuse me.
Yeah.
Backwards. They're lower. I have to be able to breathe harder. And what's weird about it is they breathe pretty almost the same amount of oxygen to nitrogen to, all the other elements, that we breathe as well. Carbon monoxide, all of that, carbon dioxide, excuse me. And the difference is that they're used to less gravity than we are, way less. And so when I'm on board with them, I experience less gravity, way less. I'm still walking around and moving around, but I am very, very much lighter than I was. That's why my lungs got so big. I also developed really, really strong bones, and I'm Amazonish, I guess. I have giant bones.
Have you ever been examined by a doctor then?
Yeah. I've thwarted the medical community a whole bunch. They freak out. Was never sick as a child. I didn't really have a problem until I was poisoned when I was in my 40s. And that's when I started having a few problems. And then somebody gave me on purpose at one of the MegaCon on 2021. I was given valley fever, which is a fungal infection in your lung. And it took me 21 days to clear, but I did. I cleared it, no problem. I survived it. They didn't think I would. It was a very, very bad infection of it. They thought it was going to kill me, but I thwarted them. I have no scars, nothing in my lungs. I contracted COVID before anybody else too. I contracted it in like November 3rd in Florida in 2019, excuse me, before anybody knew what it was. And they were tracking me, and I was notified that I was patient number 8 in Florida. And I know exactly who gave it to me and how it got transmitted to me. Our family owns a zoo. I was at the zoo, I was giving a tour, and somebody from China was sick and he sneezed in my face.
Oh my God.
And we're pretty sure it came from China. Nobody knew what it was, so they didn't know what to do for me. And we're all germaphobes at the zoo. I mean, imagine. So I used to live in the zoo, but I got tired of doing that. So I had a big, fifth wheel trailer with pop outs, and I lived in that. It was like 28 feet long, and I had heat and everything, and fireplace, the whole thing. It was fancy. And so I turned my air down all the way to 65 just to breathe. And I made my great grandma's pneumonia remedy. And I put a poultice on my chest, and I was taking vitamins. It took me, I guess, 32 days to clear that out of my system on my own.
Oh my God. Good for you.
Yeah. I've had COVID 2 more times besides that. Afterwards, I never took the shot. I refused. I already had natural immunity to it. There was nothing in my mind that made me think that I need to take that shot. And so I didn't. And I still, to this day, my doctors, when they listen to my lungs, they do x-rays and they say, you have no scars, nothing. It's freaking them out because I should have scars all over my lungs that I don't,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was I was born psychic, so it's I see people, I see dead people, and I hear them too. I could levitate as a very small child, was very, very wide open psychic. I used to drive my mother crazy because I can hear you think. And I could do psychometry. I could move things. If I was really PO'd at you for any reason whatsoever, things would happen around me. My poor aunt, I scared her to death. They came to our house, and she had all my cousins with her, and she was really angry with my cousin, who was not, she was born very premature, and she was mentally retarded slightly, okay? and I loved her. And my aunt was mad at her, and I couldn't figure out why. And she came in the room because she had come in the room with me. We were sitting on my bed, and my closet door slid open, and all my mother's hat boxes flew at her head. It was scared her. And she got up and she left. I'm not kidding. She left Sharon too. She like took everybody else. You left Sharon with me? No. And my poor mom, I could levitate. I would go to the ceiling sometimes and just look down at things. And my mom would be walking underneath me and didn't even know I was up there. And one day the hair went up on her neck. I guess she figured something was above her head. When she looked up, it freaked me out, and I let go, and I went straight down on top of her. That really upset her. I've done all kinds of weird things. I could jump higher. I could climb trees higher than anybody. I had no fear of heights because I was not afraid of falling because I could levitate. I was very, very gifted in all my physical abilities, as well as psychic. And I was very, I was the kid that could get up on the monkey bar and do roundups and stuff like that. Or I could walk up. Yeah. I used to get up on the roof, and I wanted to be a paratrooper like my dad. My dad was an airborne ranger. And I used to run off the roof line and jump down like I had a parachute and do this, the tuck. Oh, my God. They hear boom, 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 boom. And I was one of those kids. I drove everybody.
What did people think of you at school then?
I was very much to myself. I had to be because of what my father did. And so I only had one or two really close friends, and everybody else kind of, I tried to tell somebody once about my experiences, and that was the worst thing I could have ever done. I was probably in the second grade, and I got picked on after that really bad. So I stopped talking. I didn't let anybody near me after that. My teachers dealt with it because I'm very smart. My second grade teacher couldn't handle me at all. She just sent me to the library all day. I read every book in the library by the time I graduated from elementary school.
Oh my God. Full of knowledge. Full of knowledge then.
Yes, very much so.
Do you think there's a connection between the paranormal and UFOs?
I think it's your ability is the connection. Everything in the universe is energy, right? And we're entities within this universe, and we're all the same. We are literally, they are us, we are them, we're all one in this universe. And I think your abilities allow you to see past what you would think is in a third dimension, a normal space, which isn't really, because your abilities afford you to see what's really going on around you energetically and spiritually and psychically. Clear sentience is a big thing. You're all gifted with that ability. You have that ability. Everybody does. But I think that society and the way we've treated ourselves and our societies, that's been pushed away from us. It's been pushed out of us not to use it. But it's still there. People have psychic experiences all the time. They just don't know how to turn the volume up on it. They don't know how to use it at will. Okay. And a lot of people, who are like mediums and things like that, they are very psychic. For some reason, they went ahead and developed it really, really well. But a lot of them are running around with misconceptions too. They only know what they know. You know what I'm saying? If you're not given lessons in this and taught what this really is, then you're going to think up ways to explain it. And I think we got a lot of that going on our planet as well. But ET is just like us. Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca's asking a question, Dolly.
Okay.
Are the aliens in nuts and bolts crafts traveling through space or interdimensional or both?
They do not travel in normal space. Okay, not at all. Their craft are not nuts and bolts. They are alive. They are actual vehicles that were engineered to be biological, and they're indwelled by a fifth dimensional being that's non-corporeal. It joins with the craft so that the craft is alive from it. Okay, it becomes the body of that individual who's flying into this dimension. They travel interdimensionally and they travel psychically. They don't need controls like we use in our aircraft. And it's not the same type of propulsion. It's not propulsion as you understand it at all. There's no air going in and there's nothing going out of tailpipe. It is totally gravitational. It's graviton wave technology is what they use. electrical graviton wave technology, and
Right.
it creates huge fields that they can fly in interdimensionally. They know how to open dimensional light gates space. You know, we live in 12-dimensional space right now where you're at. Everybody is listening to me. There are 12 dimensions with you in the same space everywhere you go. You're traveling through 12 dimensions. The only reason you don't know they're there is you can't see them. Your body is not physically capable of perceiving the dimensions on top of you. Your psychic abilities give you that ability to see dimensional space, to see what's going on around you at the same time. Humanity needs to learn to use those abilities. That's what ET wants us to do. That's why they contact us. They're trying to get us to evolve and to stop being so aggressive, you know, and do more for ourselves intellectually and spiritually, you know, morally, that kind of thing. We haven't been heading in that direction, and we're autonomous beings. All beings in the universe have the right to choose their path. Your path is yours. Each individual person is their own person, their own entity, and you decide what you want to learn. You decide where you want to go. You decide how you want to evolve. And we haven't done a really good job of that here, bringing that message forward to people and allowing them or allowing each other to evolve. And so that's what's going on with that.
Thank you for that. Steph wants to ask you a question for Dolly. What is your opinion of aliens residing in our oceans?
They do not. That is somebody's foolish idea that they're propagating, and it's not true. The only reason you see craft going into the water and coming out of the water is when they come in interdimensionally, they're way high up in the atmosphere. They're within our magnetosphere when they come in, but they're so high up and they're very, very hot. A graviton wave causes a plasma field that is thick, hot. It's 27,000 degrees or hotter. And if they were to come in on with that kind of radiation floating around them, they would burn you to pieces. So they have to cool off. They have to allow time for the craft to cool down. And they switch energies. They go from they use a type of nuclear that they use to create an electrical current that makes the graviton wave. And they switch to batteries. They have batteries that are very sophisticated and can still make the graviton waves, and they last for a certain amount of time. So they go down into the water and they cool off and they come back out. Now, they go down interdimensionally so that they don't hurt anything in the oceans. Sometimes they'll come down in mass, like 20 or 30 of them, and they'll just hang out and group up before they go do their specific things that they're going to do on the planet, or around the planet, or above the planet. So no, they do not live there, but they use water to cool off. They also need water, so they will pump water on board. They can either pump water, salt water, or regular fresh water. The salt water, they can take the salt out of it rapidly on board. They have a way to do that, but they mostly prefer to pull up fresh water. So you'll see craft in fresh water as well, big lakes, whatever. Yeah.
What about when like sheep go missing and cows go missing from fields? Is it ETs what are taking them?
No. That's another thing that the government, the world industrial complex, wants you to believe. It's not true. ET has been preserving every animal, every plant, every human's DNA forever. We are their children. We didn't evolve here. We were brought here. And so they know who we are. We're their children. And they will come down and check them out. But no, they don't mutilate and they don't take things from people at all. So that's us doing it. We got some bad actors on this planet who do terrible, despicable, incredibly vile things, and that's one of them.
Well, they always talk about, when we talk about Bigfoot, there's always talking about UFOs being seen in the same area.
That happens, yeah. Bigfoots are from here. They originated on this planet like we did. Well, as far as being put here, okay, they were put here too. There were a whole bunch of different types of human hominids, okay, on this planet. You know, the Denisovans, the Neanderthals, Bigfoot's one of the branches. There's a whole bunch of them, okay, and us. And we actually could interbreed with one another, just so you know that. We have Neanderthal blood and Denisonovian blood, in our genetics. Recent genetically into us. So we were breeding back and forth with them. We were here to evolve. And we all got put on here on the same time, and we all just sort of evolved together, and that's how we came to be. There was no genetic program that produced us. You're a highly intelligent, sentient being. You have consciousness. You come from somewhere else and come here to be here for a while. All animals are highly intelligent and sentient. You just can't communicate with them because you're not using your ability to hear what they're thinking.
Yeah.
They are just like us as well as we them. Bigfoots were here with us, and they come and go. ET does pick them up and bring them back from time to time. I would consider Bigfoots the garden watchers of this planet. You know, I think it's their job to keep an eye on how the Earth is doing, to be honest with you. And they're everywhere on this Earth. Every single society has sightings of them, but they're smart enough to keep you from seeing them when they don't want you to.
Why do you think originally the ETs got in touch with you?
Say that again?
Why do you think the ETs got in touch with you?
Oh, there's more than just me on this planet doing what I do. ET has watched us for eternity. You know, they've watched all our family lines. They've been involved with us for centuries and centuries and centuries. The proof is out there. You know that, okay? They exist. They have existed. They do not interfere directly with us, but they encourage us from time to time, and they try to do what they can to help us elevate ourselves. My particular family's been watched by them for centuries. They know my family lines all the way back, and my family's interacted with, interbreeding with them, with the tall grays and the tall whites for centuries. It's interesting to see my pedigree. It's interesting, trust me. I was bred, selectively watched and bred, like you would breed like a dog or whatever, you know, a dog line, you know, like a Saint Bernard or whatever, and encouraged to become better than we are. Okay, it wasn't genetic; it was just interhuman breeding, is all it is, or with them. And I woke up when I was born. I actually have the genetics of someone who was going to be psychic from the beginning. I have the genetic traits. All the markers are there for me. High markers. Everybody in my family is very, very psychic on both sides. It's everywhere in my family, actually. So we got a whole family line of it going on. The only reason that I am different is they didn't choose me. I chose them. I knew it was happening to me. I was obsessed with the idea that this was not going to go unnoticed by me. I had to know everything. I'm one of those people that I want to know everything. And I chose to work with them. I chose this. That's why I'm very lucky that everything fell into place so that I could. Is the only difference. I find it interesting that other people could look at what I'm doing and feel like, why not them? And my answer to them is, why not you? Why not? If you're that sentient, if you're that aware and awake, what are you waiting for? You know, all you have to do is develop your abilities and make contact, and they will answer you, and you will become involved with them. The line to that education is wide open to you at that point. And that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that we ascend mentally ourselves so that we can have that conversation with them and learn from them as well. You know, I am probably one of maybe that I know of on this planet right now that are actually talking, maybe 20 worldwide. I know there are more of us, but they're not talking. And I wonder why about that, but I'm just gregarious. I'm not afraid. So that's why you hear from me.
Yeah. Tell us about flying one of their crafts.
It's more than I could possibly tell you. It is the greatest moments of my life have been being able to fly with them. When I was 14 and I woke up on board, they asked me what I wanted to do. They were offering me the keys to the kingdom. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? And the first word out of my mouth was, I want to fly. I'm flying, I'm going to fly. And it took them about 6, 7 months to decide whether I could. I had to physically be ready for it. I had to be mentally ready for it. I had to have my abilities had to be on point with them. And once they decided that I was a go for that, it took me 4 years of training, heavy training, to learn how to fly with them. And that became my life. I was 19 years old when I graduated to be a pilot, and I'm 67 now, going on 68, and I've been flying ever since.
Right. Very interesting. What kind of ETs have you seen?
I have seen, oh my goodness. Well, I know who the tall grays are. I know who the tall whites are that you call them tall whites. They're more like us than you know. I mean, way more like us than you know. There are different ethnicities of the grays. There's the very tall grays. They're the very short, almost like troll type size of the grays. And then there's what I call the mid guys. They all have different fingers. Like the really tall grays have 4 fingers only. They only have 4 toes and 4 fingers.
Right.
The mid-sized guys got 5, and the little teeny ones range between 4 and 3. So yeah, we don't see a lot. I don't see a lot of the 3-fingered smaller grays, but they're there. I've come across them. Then there are those that are very heavily related to everybody on this planet, and that would be the Anunnaki. They are from the Bible and Biblical and Gilgamesh, all of that. They are the giants that fell to Earth, the angels that fell to Earth, and they are all redheaded, and they have blue eyes or blue-green eyes, monochromatic eyes, and they're winged, literally winged, because where they're from, they had almost the gravity was so low they could fly anywhere in their gravitational area. They were huge because they're like 15 feet tall or better, 300 or 400 pounds worth of these people. They bred in with us. That's where all the red hair comes from on our planet, and all the blue eyes from the Anunnaki. And every single human being has that bloodline in them. If you do your homework and you look up, are there redheads in every single ethnicity on this planet? And the answer is absolutely yes. Yes. From African to Japanese to Chinese, Mongol, all of us, Arabic, all of us, we all have that gene in us, and it comes from them. Then there are the ones that look like Horus. They are dog-like, massively huge beings. They have clawed hands and feet, very muscular. Their head is not exactly like a dog, but they do have the longer face, and they have unbelievable canines. Oh yeah, and they are intense. They are more like guardians than anything. They watch what goes on in the universe. They are there to back us up when bad things happen. They were in Egypt. They were in Mesopotamia. They were in other places, like when Atlantis was a place more than 24,000 years ago. They were in Atlantis. They've come and gone in our lives. I saw them because I was on an excursion with ET, and they just happened to be on board. And I walked by them, and I was like, woo, wow. There are those that look like Isis. They are feline-like. They have skin like a cat, very thin fur, almost like have you ever touched a Sphinx cat that has no fur on it? Like, you touch them, you go, wow.
Oh, yeah.
They're like that. Some of them have a little bit of fur, and, they have different distinctive markings on them. They're very, they have a lot of human characteristics in them as well. And then there are those that are bird-like, and those are the most impressive to me. Ra was portrayed as a bird, and yep, these beings look like birds, only they are humanoid birds. I find it interesting. When I was growing up, I kept questioning that when I was growing up, when he was teaching me. And they said that the DNA mixes up differently in different places. It just depends on where you're from and what ecological niche you're involved in. And there are those that have these characteristics because they needed them from where they're at. But they're all humanoid. But we all have that. Okay. So that was a good way to explain it to me. I thought, okay, all right. So because I'm not thinking of like birds after that, they're definitely humanoid, sentient, very intelligent beings. We think of the gods on this planet in a weird way. You know, what's the guy's name who did Chariots of the Gods? I love, you know,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of his name. It'll come to me in a minute.
I loved his explanation because he did so much research that he knew exactly what he was talking about. He realized that these were ET and that we treated them like gods because we didn't know better. We didn't know anything about them.
No, I didn't know.
Shiva was probably an ET. Okay, he was an ancient type of ET that are related to the Greys. Okay, he was blue. I've seen blue beings. By the way, they're not Pleiadians. Okay, just saying, they're not.
They're not.
No, there's a lot of things that we have. What's the word I'm looking for? When you have a lot of mythology out there, or a lot of things that people want to believe, and they believe it, and then they propagate it. And one of the things is the Pleiades, you know, and Lemuria. There are different ethnicities of ET as well. There are those that look Asian. Okay, there are those that look African, darker skinned. They all have the colors of the different. We're all different shades of wheat. Did you know that? If you look at the different shades of wheat and put the color palette up against humanity worldwide, you will see that we all match wheat from one end of the scale to the other in color. Well, they're the same way. They're all the different shades of wheat and a little bit of blue for reasons. Okay, and that's because they live in an area where their eyesight accepts more of the ultraviolet. And the other side of the spectrum. I'm having a weird day.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Steph's saying it's Eric Van Daniken.
Yeah, that's Eric Van Daniken. That's right. And so they see different colors, and like chickens, you know, they have a different eye catchment. You know, they have different rods in their eyes, so they see more color spectrum than we do, and their ethnicity evolved into including those colors into their skin types. It's really, really pretty cool when you think about it, because it's when you start following with the sciences of this, how this could actually be, what it is, without all the mythology, you go, oh, one of the things about science is that we know that the Pleiades up in the sky is not it's in our galaxy, but it punched through. It's a failed galaxy. And that the stars, it's very small, and it's eating itself alive. The stars in it are so huge, the gravity there does not support life of any kind. That's how bad the radiation is in that galaxy. No life occurs there, none. It is a galaxy that got hit by another galaxy that punched through, and it's now involved with our galaxy. It's very small. But what's behind it, like if you're looking in the direction of the Pleiades, yeah. Okay, way behind that are other systems, star systems that are not in our galaxy that ET was trying to teach people on the ground here. They would point toward the Pleiades. That it was the best they could do. It was the best they could explain. You're from there, without realizing that they were confusing the heck out of everybody, and everybody's thinking, oh, they're Pleiadian. No, you're not. It's from way back on the other side of that in another galaxy completely. And it would be the Delphi systems. They're from the Delphi system, some of them. It is interesting to me how we perceive everything. Your knowledge base is wide open right now, because we started here and we're right about here. We want to go here. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we understand is only a piece of the truth. You know, you don't have the whole truth of everything. And it's out there for you to get. ET would teach it to you, but you have to elevate yourself and use your abilities to get there to have the conversation. You know, if we spend all our time doing nothing and playing games all the time and getting mad at each other, we aren't focused on anything that can help us for real. You know, and that's what they're trying to teach us. Stop it. You know,
right. Rebecca's she sent a question here. I think it's is it fairies fit into all this?
They actually exist. And I haven't figured that out yet. That's something that I didn't put a lot of time into figuring out. I have seen one when I was younger, as a teenager, and she just showed up and freaked me out. And I was like, whoa. I don't know, but I know they're here. I think that they're an interdimensional being, to be honest with you, because that was the impression that I got, because she moved through dimensional space. Okay. She showed herself to me. Well, I had the ability to see her, and a lot of us do here. I mean, I'm not the only person who's psychic. Y'all are. Okay. And I had a conversation with her, and I was worried about what she had on. Her clothes looked terrible. And I had Barbies then. I was going to get her some really nice clothes, and I talked to her for a while, and she was right by this huge tree we had on the farm. Okay. Huge tree, roots, everything. And when she was gone, when I came back, I started crying. I was like, oh my God. So I left her the clothes by the tree. I also brought nuts and raisins and, little teeny strawberries and blueberries and stuff, and made a pile of them for her. And they disappeared. And I thought, well, she took them. And I never saw her again, and it broke my heart. But I know they exist. I really do. I truly believe they're interdimensional beings. They're sharing the same space with us, and we just see them from time to time. And they're very, very psychic beings. Yep.
What do you think ET's agenda is?
Oh, simple. When you are able to do what they're doing, they're not thousands of years in advance of us, or millions. They're billions of years in advance of us. And we are their children. We are related to them, and they to us. They worry over us. They watch us. They compel us. They help compel ourselves to do the right things for ourselves. They try very hard to do that. That's their agenda, to keep an eye out for us and to make full-scale rescues from time to time. And that has happened in our.
When we talk about, they must look at us and think they're always at war with each other. These people down here, do you think they help us sometimes?
Not in the way that you think. They send us mental messages all the time. They're constantly talking to us. We don't listen. We're not hearing them. A lot of people are starting to come into their abilities and are starting to hear them and do, and trying to propagate the message that we all need to shut up, stop being the idiots that we are. But it's still up to all of us. We all have to join together in that endeavor. We all have to become one with ourselves. We all have to elevate our abilities and our intelligence and what we know and understand, and tell the truth. We're not truth tellers on this planet. That's the number one issue with us. We don't tell the truth. We dream out loud, and that's not okay. It's a type of delusion that we live in, and we need to wake up to that's not okay either. I don't know what's going to change us on this planet. I don't know what's going to teach us. All I know is that I can tell the truth about what I understand and what I know to be the truth, and plant the seeds and hope that they take root in people, that they come to fruition. I tell people, don't believe what I say. Please don't do that, because it doesn't teach you a doggone thing. I want you to research what I say. I want you to understand what I say, and learn that it's true, and then make it part of you, who you are. That elevates you. That brings you wisdom and knowledge that you can further employ. That's how this works. That's what a teacher does. So I'm here to teach the truth. And I hope everybody starts listening. We have to understand that we've all become slaves on this planet. We don't think for ourselves here. And if you really understood that, fully understood, it would put you in a moment of, oh my God, I need to stop. You're told what to do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Somebody is over you all the time. There's no part of your life that your autonomy is 100% yours and yours alone. We're supposed to help one another, not hinder. We're supposed to give each other what we need, instead of hate each other and fight each other and kill each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And we have to start ourselves, each of us individually. That's why autonomy is so important to understand. Your autonomy is your responsibility. Your path is your 100% responsibility. Nobody can do this for you. This is the greatest gift a parent can give a child, is to teach you how to learn for yourself and to realize that it's up to you. You make the difference, you and you. And once we all start doing that at the same time, things change. But we have to get to that point. We have to teach each other the truth about this. We have to bring it out and stop allowing, by complacency, those who are out of their minds to do the things that they do. you know. Say no or give them dead air. ET likes to give you dead air. When I was growing up, if I was doing something stupid or wrong, they would literally give me dead air. And it would shock me, like nobody's talking to me, what's going on, you know, and I would get the mental image, you just made a mistake, you need to figure it out.
Have you been taken to other planets then?
Yes, yeah. I've been taken to the Tall Gray's homeworld, and it's in the Orion. If you look at Orion's belt, you're looking at it, the third star to the right, and then you come down. There's a big star right there. It's called Orion 2. That's in that area. Where they're from is in that area. And their homeworld they call Enneama. And I'm allowed to tell you that. It's Enneama, and it means the people.
Right. Sounds very interesting. Are the ETs able to travel back in time?
Not in the way that you think. You think linearly, so it's really hard for you to understand that when you're in the third dimension, that's all you got. If you were to go back in time from the third dimension, you would die. There's nothing behind you, nothing. It's not there anymore. Okay? If you were to go into the future, there wouldn't be anything there either. You would die. So you're stuck here in this physical body in the third dimension. Now, if you were to take yourself out of this dimension and go to the fifth dimension or the sixth, you can see, you leave all time. There's no more timeline. And you can actually see everything that's going on, front, forward, middle, and back. Okay? It's all around you, 360. Humans have a hard time conceptualizing that or even dealing with that. One of the things that I was taught when I was learning to go with them outside of this dimension is that I had to learn to mentally cope with what was occurring around me, okay? Because they can view any part of time at all. They don't experience with it. They don't go into it, but they know it. They can see it. They can watch, okay? Watch. If you're in an area, like if I'm right here right now and I go outside this dimension where I'm at right now, physically go into the fifth dimension, everything in the fifth dimension is outside of time in the spot where I'm at right now, in this place, okay? And I can see everything that's gone on 360 all the way around me, mentally see everything that occurred. I can see all the people that went through it. I know everything that went on because I'm psychic and I hear it, see it, feel it, experience it. It's all there. When we're outside the body and we're in source, which is basically where everything is for us, we know everything. It's like being an educated idiot because when we come here, we don't employ it at all. And you've been taught to forget. So yes, you can go back in time in that I can experience that time that way. Now, here's what else they can do. When I was about 5 years old, just under 5, they took me to Sweden, and they took me back to 1910. I wasn't there, not at all. I didn't go into that time slot, but I came in between the third and the fifth dimension. We slid in through the fourth, which makes it possible for you to see me a certain way. I still can't touch, eat, drink, or anything, or involve myself in what's going on, but I can be there. I can observe, okay, and be observed if that's allowed. You know, if they can bring me through a certain way. They did allow that to happen. I have a relative that was alive then. He was an artist, and his daughters, he had twin daughters, and it was their birthday. When they brought me in, they said, we're going to put you here, and you can sit here, but do not touch the ground. Do not drink anything. Do not touch anybody. They know you're there, and they're probably wondering who you are, except that I look like them. This is my family. I look like them, and just be quiet for a while and just enjoy, and then we'll pull you back out and they won't know any different, okay? So I did. I sat there quietly on a bench, a picnic table bench, didn't put my feet on the floor. I had the outfit. They gave me the outfit to wear, everything, and I watched the party. I let the memory slide from my mind after that. I didn't think about it too much. I knew I was there. I knew what was going on. And see, I speak Swedish. It's my first language. And I had a really good time, but I didn't realize that it was in 1910. I didn't realize this was my family. At 5 years old, they tell you stuff and you go, yeah, okay, right, okay. You know, when I was a teenager, my great grandmother, who is still alive, she was born in 1896. So
Right.
she was still alive when I was a teenager, and she'd get stuff from Sweden all the time, and she got a catalog, Carl Larson, who we're related to. Okay, and she was looking through the catalog, and she looked at a picture, and she went, "That's you." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "That's you." She said, "I never noticed this before. That's you." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "That's you. I know it's you." And I said, "What are you looking at?" So I went in there, and there it was. It was the painting of the party. One of the things that he was doing at the party
Oh my
was he was
God.
drawing us the whole time. Yeah, he was walking around with, paper and easel, and he was drawing us. He drew the whole party. And apparently he did the painting of the party, and there I am in the painting. And it freaked me
Amazing.
out. And I asked them later, "Why did you do that?" And he said, "Because I wanted you to be able to explain this to somebody someday, how this works. Because people believe that people from the future are coming here and involving themselves in our lives, and no, they are not. They would be dead. It would not occur. You cannot physically come from the third dimension into the past in the third dimension. It doesn't exist anymore for anybody in that future time. Every minute that you live is a minute that goes away. Okay, there's no more minute there. That's why you need to learn to understand that you have a memory, and your consciousness can understand that. It can see it, feel it, hear it, remember it, but it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's done. Okay. A lot of people let the past hurt them, physically, mentally hurt them. Don't. It's gone. Let it go. Okay. Also, the future, you can think about the future, but you still have to live right now. And that's the message they wanted me to transmit to you all, that you're still here.
Hey, Dolly, do you think some of our people are chosen to see ETs and be with ETs and get
It's
to know them?
Right. I think it's up to you to remember humanity is afraid. You were born to be taught to be afraid. When you're a slave, you have to think the way you're told to think. And whole societies have ripped the heck out of your abilities because you're told to fear it. You're told to be afraid of it. You're afraid of ghosts. You're afraid of this. You're afraid of that. You have boundaries in your mind, literal boundaries of religion or societal thinking, that kind of thing. And you either choose to see them or you don't. That's what's happening. It's not whether we're picked. It's whether we choose. It's up to us. You have to drop the fear. You have to understand that this is a real phenomenon and open your eyes and look and use your abilities to enjoy it. Okay. It isn't that you're chosen. Everybody on this planet has been contacted by them. They know who you are. Every single human being on this planet. It's up to you to decide. I've met people on board, I'm not joking, who we bring them up and they know what they're there for at the time in the moment. And they're as frozen as you could possibly be, just sitting there. They're terrified to move one way or the other. And what I try to do is talk them out of the fear, because it's almost deafening in my ears to listen to them
Screaming.
Yeah, or the mental anguish that's going on in their heads. Your hippocampus is a very, very gentle piece of equipment in your head, and it's either going to remember or it's going to shove it right out because it can't take it. Delusion is a defense against a memory you don't want to have. And that's what's happening to you. You are shutting your own brain down. You are stopping the memory. A lot of people say, well, it was dreamlike. Well, okay, we do that too. You will experience it like a dream because that's how you can mentally understand it. Wake up. That's what it means to wake up. You're not in a dream. This is all real.
Have you ever been tempted to take a photograph?
I wish I could. Yes, I've tried. The energy that's on board will kill anything. Digital, frame, film, all of it. You can't take a picture. I sit in an electromagnetic environment that is so hostile, it would eat anything I brought from Earth to try to take a picture with. The pictures that I have got and the film I have got, we have deliberately had to plan to get what I got because the craft had to turn a certain way keep the emitters from pointing at me on the ground filming. Okay. That's our problem. You can't. Now, there have been people who have gotten a couple of pictures, but they've been debunked so badly, and the person who took them was treated so badly by the government that nobody will believe it now. And I would choose to tell you about Stan Romanek. Look what they did to him. They turned him into a pedophile and they put him in jail. They got him because he actually had contact and he got a few pictures on the ground of ET. And then they totally destroyed his life.
Do you think the government know more about ETs and the plane, what they know?
Okay, I need to understand what you're asking me. Ask me again.
Do you think the government know more about the ETs
Yes.
now?
Absolutely. They know everything about them. They're more than aware. Yeah. They're not in cahoots with them. There's no partnerships. There's no galactic federation. That is all lies. No. Okay. But they are aware of them. And it's because they're afraid of them. When they realized that ET were a thing and that they were trying to get them to discontinue going in the direction of nuclear armaments and stuff like that. And they actually contacted 8 world leaders. Eisenhower was one of them. There were others. Okay. Yeah. And Eisenhower could not tell them that he could do anything about it because he knew what the military industrial complex was already because of President Truman, okay, who started it. He was worried about what we were doing because ET explained what we were doing to him, and he was trying to bring the truth out as well. But he was afraid for his family and what they could do to his family as well. And that's serious stuff, okay? In his farewell address as president, he talked about the military-industrial complex, and he warned everybody what they were and that we are all in trouble from it. And it has gotten worse and worse and worse, you know? You don't realize how much they know, and they will never tell you the truth because they have an agenda. They're the ones with the agenda, and they know full well what it is, and humanity is not included. And I'm not so sure I want to go there with y'all today because your group is still learning about this, and I would rather give you the truth and the moral implications of who ET is before I tell you what's coming. So
yeah,
that you can figure out for yourself real quick, because where I talk out publicly, I do have those messages about that where you can go prove to yourself whether I'm telling you the truth or not. But today I want to talk about ET. They are not harmful to us. They are not against us. They're not going to use us. We are not their slaves. We are not their creation. We are their children, period. And we are going to be facing a false flag soon worldwide, where the governments of the world tell you that it now is a national security incident. They're already gearing up to do it. They have a lot of things out on the net now and in the news. They're breaking to make you afraid of ET even more. It's not true. They're not going to get you. I want you to understand that ET is not here right now. They can't be here because our magnetosphere is, while our poles, North and South Pole, are changing, they're excursioning, our magnetosphere has lost about 40% of its cohesion, and it causes them to crash. It has been happening for 80 years, and it got really, really bad to the point that they couldn't do it anymore. So they're gone. They bugged out. They will come back when the poles finish changing. But our governments know they're not here, and they're up to no good.
Do you think some of the craft what we see in the sky now are ours?
Yes, all of them. They're back engineered, yeah. I want you all to look up this guy. His name is Michael Schratt. Michael knows more about this than you could possibly imagine. What is ours and which was ET's. He is a researcher that is none could compare to him at all. He works harder than any human being I've ever met at this. I want you to look him up on YouTube and then listen to what he says, okay? And let that be your guide to what's true and what's not.
Thank you for that.
You're
It's been interesting tonight, as always. Tell us about the book.
Symmetry.
Symmetry, yes. What's out now about Preston?
Right. It took him about a year to write it. It took him 6 years to vet me. He started writing the book 5 years in, and it's the story of my life. And it tells everything that has happened to me, how I got to be doing what I'm doing, and why I came out, all of it. And it's a good reference book to what I say and why I say it. Also, we got Symmetry 2 coming out. We're hoping by January. It's been a harder one to write because I'm more technical in this one. I'm giving more information about science, everything that's going on. I'm being outright. I'm giving you a real clear path to understanding why the governments are doing what they're doing and all of that. So that should hit soon. And it's
where can you get the book?
on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and put in Preston Dennett's name and write Symmetry, and boop, it'll pop up, and you can get it that way. It's also on Kindle and Kindle books. And it's pretty cool. And he has a low price for it. We decided I'm not trying to make tons of money here. I just want the truth to come out. So the paperback book is pretty inexpensive, and so is the Kindle. The Kindle's like $4.99. So, and it's very
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you with any experiences, where can they find you?
Okay. Well, two ways. You can contact me through Preston at prestonufo@gmail.com, and just notify him that you have a story to tell and put it down in the email, and he will get back to you about it. I will get back to you about it. I'm also on Messenger. My Messenger line is wide open. You can contact me whether you're my friend or not and ask me anything you want, and I will pretty much answer you. I'm also on X. I have pictures of Tawada up on X and Instagram as well. And it's just Dolly Saffron all the way across the board. And my YouTube is Dolly Saffron, and my Facebook is Dolly Saffron. So I'm easy to find.
Easy to find. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been, I know we started off very temporary on the road.
Sorry.
No, but we got there in the end.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you for having me on your show. It's been an honor to be able to talk to y'all. And
oh, lovely. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
My guest on Friday is Daryl Denton. He's been on before, Daryl. He talks about Bigfoot, Land Between the Lakes. He does it with a few other people. And that'll be at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific, and 7 p.m. in the UK. Steph just saying, great show, Bob, as always. Dolly's accounts, thank you very much for your time.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you again. Good night and God bless from the UK. Bye for now.